I start but can't complete. Listen, ooh, to the sound from deep within. It's only beginning to find release. Oh, the time has come for my dreams to be heard. They will not be pushed aside and turned into your own, all 'cause you won't listen. Listen, I am alone at a crossroad. I'm not at home in my own home, and I'm trying to say what's on my mind. You should have known.
Thank you, viewers, for staying with us. Of course, that clip that we saw is the late Alleyne-Meloney, and many of you would have been touched by her voice. That clip we saw was back from 2007 when she would have auditioned and subsequently would have won Digital Rising Stars 2007. Joining me this morning on set is Miss Sharon Phillips, no stranger. We know her, songwriter, designer, entertainer. You know it. You're talking about music. You're talking about large personality. Good morning, Miss Sharon Phillips, and thank you for, sitting with me to share some memories about Kay this morning. And joining us virtually is, again, someone who's no stranger to us, Mr. John Arnold, musical director, producer, musician, vocalist, teacher, and again would have shared special moments with Kay. So thank you for joining us, Mr. Arnold.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Where do you really start when you want to reflect on someone who would have meant so much and impacted so many of us? And Sharon, as I have you here in studio with me, the world was introduced to Kay really through Digital Rising Stars, but many people here in Tobago, those in Trinidad, would have worked with her, knew that voice, that powerful voice, quite some time before. What would you share about Kay?
Well, I grew up in the Seventh-day Adventist faith,
right?
So I would have known Kay from a very young age, right? We would have been singing together in church,
right.
And I would have gone to CUC, now USC as well. I've been a student there, so I would have come across Kay as early as 15, 16 years old.
Right.
And we would have made a significant bond at that time in our lives as singers. And we were really fond of each other, so everywhere you would see Kay, you would normally see Sharon when she's around in Tobago. And they used to, it was slims and fats, and for, obvious reasons,
yes.
I was fat. It was funny because, after this, she went into Digital Rising Star. Her first husband was also my cousin, so we became extremely close.
Right.
She became a member of my band, Flame, as well. And we would have done significant work as a team, as a unit, as sisters. We became sisters pretty young in the game. I probably was about 21, 22 when we became that close. And we would have forged other bonds with other sisters like Delissa Wilson George and Adana Roberts. So we all sang together in one band. And we would have maintained that friendship and that love for culture, that love for the craft, that respect for the craft. She had an undying faith in God.
Yes.
And growing up in the church, we all have that, But with Kay, especially in the last few months, I saw a measure of faith that I have not seen from a lot of people who profess to be pastors, at that level.
Right.
She was really devout. She was a genuine individual. So if she didn't like something, her facial expression in 5 seconds would tell you that she didn't like it. But she was usually such a pleasant, like you couldn't know when Kay was angry up by face value, because she laughed at everything, and I really, it's really hard right now sitting here because we were extremely close. We regarded each other as sisters. We know everything about each other, and it would be very hard to put her to rest.
Of course, and so many people would have shared their own memories on social media. I can recall reading an experience from Josette Thomas. Josette also, grew up singing, and I know she said, Kay was like a big sister mommy to her. So
Yeah.
she got the buff, but she had to take the buff because the buff was with plenty love, and she knew that Kay wanted her to really come out as a performer, as a minister in gospel,
Of
and
course.
give her best all the time. And she would have shared fun memories. I know even for you, Josette, this is a hard time, and all the many others who would have loved her, would have worked with Kay, and even for those who may not have been that have that personal relationship, but you knew her as an artist, you know what she would have delivered. And let me bring Mr. Arnold in. Of course, you would have worked with Kay, you would have known her, and if you can, feel free to share a memory about Kay, what you admired about her, as we reflect on what she would have contributed.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things I would like to start by saying good morning to you and all the viewers. Kay, as one person described her, she's a national treasure. And I say that without any kind of apology because that voice is a very, Carl Beaver said it well, that in all his working is that's probably the best voice he has encountered in Trinidad and Tobago. It doesn't negate the fact that we have several great voices.
Right.
Of
But
course.
my memory of Kay, actually, I moved to tourism in 20, and I remember we had an aggressive campaign for the next 5, 10 years on event tourism. And part of that involved not just festival and event tourism and actually all the niches that Tobago had. But we used to travel a lot. And that's when I kind of, because we had festival tourism going and also traveling to promote Trinidad and to promote Tobago. Kay Allen traveled a few times with me, and she was amazing. Everywhere we went with Kay would just mash up the place.
Right.
And then I also had her on some of the Signal Hill alumni shows. Chris, I remember one in particular because it was a Christmas concert, and again she was outstanding. And I mean, throughout my interaction with Kay, right through, that was a powerhouse voice. That was a voice that never, and I think Sharon just said something. She always laughs. Yeah, she had this very distinctive laugh. Once you heard it, you know that was Kay. All right, and I mean, my reflection, I think we've really lost a real national treasure. She's young, and it would have been good to have her around longer, but God knows best.
Yeah.
So that's
And
my memory there, yeah.
And she was such a versatile musician because that
Yes.
voice, whether it was gospel, whether it was jazz, it may have been pop, she gave it her all. Some musicians, some vocalists are boxed in by a genre, but she
Yeah.
had the ability just to cross over and still, give it to you.
Of course.
Give it to you. She
And,
really
you
would
know,
be missed. Yes.
no, I was just going to add that's a very important point you have just hit because the problem with singers is that not many singers in Trinidad and Tobago can do the cross
Exactly.
jar thing. And so it is really, really a good point you just hit. Kate could have moved from anything. She could do calypso too. She could do soca. It doesn't matter. She can make the switch, and that's when you have a great voice that you know and you command a good register, and she commands all the elements of a great vocalist: power, dynamics, and also passion. She loves
Yes.
to sing. So I think that was really, really something we will all miss. And as I said, the space will be poorer in terms of vocalists in Tobago and Trinidad.
Right. Sharon, let me bring you back in the conversation because I know really Kay is, was very dear to you and will remain dear to you.
Of course.
When you look at a person like this and you are in the industry as well, you know, we see when someone great passes on, we talk about their excellence, we talk about this. And I remember someone asking, even with Kay's passing, you know, beside maybe recordings on YouTube, live stuff, you know, where can you purchase her music? What can you do? You know, what are we doing here?
I've seen a lot of people's contribution, and let me reiterate some very poignant points that may have crossed some people or slipped some people.
Right.
Kay would have been the reason for the Elevate program that would have started last year, May.
Okay.
Right? This initiative started because herself, Brian Clark, who is now deceased, and 2 other members of the VAPA community in Tobago were ill. And we made a conscientious decision to not just consistently be begging, because this will be a very bad precedent to set.
Right.
Because there are a lot of people that are not well in the VAPA community. So she called me and she says, sis, we have to do something. I am not well, and it's not me alone. And I know this might be a bit much for you, but we need to do something here. And that's how Elevate was born. Kay has started a legacy.
And for those who don't know,
so for those who do not know what Elevate was about, Kay came all the way to it. And this is the part that really, I have to say, it really hurt me, because it takes a certain measure of humility for a performing artist who is actively performing to come on national media and tell the entire world, listen, I have breast cancer, this is my situation, and I'm asking for your support.
Yes.
And when you look at the turnout, for example, of Elevate, it shows you how much we could have done to assist her.
Right.
That would have slipped across our head, because that was in aid of Kay and in aid of Brian. Now, going forward, I hear people, you know, having suggestions of what we can do to honor or to respect the artists.
Yeah.
Let's start by putting a little respect on how we treat our creatives in this space.
Right.
I hear lots of promoters talking about, you know, in the aftermath. But the reality of it is that artists, especially people who depend on the creative sector, they don't have very many other financial bufferings for it.
Right.
My sister had nothing to prove here. She shut down Shaka Khan.
Yes.
And had Shaka Khan singing back up for her.
Yes.
So that should tell you that the very next time she would have opened her mouth, she deserved the check that Shaka Khan got.
Right.
And that's simply what I'm trying to show Tobaconians. We've always been good enough. I came up under Mr. John Arnold and people like these, right, in this sector. And I would remember, Mr. Arnold would also remember, one of the very significant tours that we would have done representing Tobago. I almost died from an allergy reaction in the trailer bus. Right? We were in England. We were eating strange things that we don't have here in Tobago.
Right.
And I ate some kind of cheese that I wasn't supposed to eat. And it was Kay who recognized that I was not active. You know, we were all jovial on the bus. Then all of a sudden I was missing. Then all of a sudden I couldn't breathe and I was blue. I literally owe the fact that I'm alive today to her observation and her love, that she didn't just sit there. You know, and she held me and she made sure she fanned me. She made sure that I was good until Mr. Arnold and they were able to get me the medical assistance I needed. And I will never forget that. I will, as I'm going through her stuff at my house, you know, I'm looking at what has happened, how it happened. For this short space of time, I've lost Brian Clark. It's a hard year for me. I've lost Leandro Nori.
Yes.
And now I'm losing my sister as well, Kay. And what we have done from Elevate, and this was one of the last things that she wanted to happen. We're going to have a very significant scholarship, right? It was already in play, but I'm going to allow the Secretary for Tourism and Culture to announce it, because it's going to be a part of the VAPA Creative Scholarship Program.
Right.
So we're going to have 2 significant scholarships from Elevate that are going to be in that program. And one would be the Kay Alleyne Scholarship, and the next one would be the Leandro Nori Scholarship. I have made a vow, a very significant vow, to backpedal a bit from the stage and see how best I can help my creatives to stop coming to this position where we extend our lives. I don't think that people see it, you know, the way that it should. The respect given is when you see a creative in Tobago having a show, go out and support them. It takes nothing to buy a ticket.
True.
You know, I remember how many people would have dropped off their children at the show for Elevate and then gone to Whim for Harvest, then come back to pick up their children.
Right.
A moment missed. Support to an artist. Buy the ticket. It's not just in the aftermath now, doing things. Kay has been with the Elevate program, covered 84 students. It's now up to 227, right? So I just want Tobago to know she has been working. It has been a dying wish to have the VAPA department of Tobago significantly improved, especially the vocal department. And we're going to keep pushing with that. We're going to keep going with in her memory. Her funeral is going to be at the University of the Southern Caribbean on the 29th. That's at Maracas Valley, St. Joseph, on the 29th of this month. So Tobagonians, we're going down in full force, and we're going to lift our voices in praise. And we're going to do a memorial here in Tobago. I'm just waiting for the confirmation of the date.
Right.
But we're going to do a massive memorial in Tobago for Kay. She wanted music and food, no talk.
Yes,
and we're going to give her what she wanted, music and memories.
And that sounds so much like her.
That was key.
That sounds so much like her. And of course, Mr. Arnold, as we wrap up, let me bring you in. You know, just when you talk about how you would have worked with her, and a person who is so, her personality, you know, so strong, and you alluded to it, Sharon, where you spoke about she remained humble.
Yes.
You would have worked with many persons, Mr. Arnold. When you think about Kay and your professional interaction with her, and knowing that, I mean, she could have been a diva if she wanted to. You know, what are your memories, and what would you share about that professionalism about Kay?
Yeah, well, as I said earlier, I mean, from the three perspectives from which I speak always is my professional, my personal, and my official. And all three of those persons in me agree that Kay was definitely an A-class, an A-game. And I'm not saying that because she has passed and we all say great things about people when they pass. I actually mean that. And that's the honest truth. I would have told her that several times before. You know, my last really good memory of her, as I'm speaking, there was this just after Kyle Festa in 2019. In 2020, there was this great, 2020 or 21, one of them, post-COVID, there was this great show, like an agricultural expo at the Savannah. They had set up the place similar to Kyle Festa. And I remember she performing with a band with Carl Beaver Henderson. He was managing the band. And I remember patrons asking if that was somebody they had brought in from away. And I remember having to tell a gentleman. I had to say, no, she's homegrown, man. She's from right here. You know, because they could not believe somebody was doing these covers with such authenticity that they actually thought she was alive. But I think our cultural confidence needs to move in a positive direction to know we have the talent right here in Trinidad and Tobago. And all we need is the proper and right training. And, you know, things are going to happen. So I'm saying that maybe out of this unfortunate happening, that one of the things that may come, I heard Sharon allude to some things that are going to happen from the secretary announcing. Let's hope, and I mean, I see even bigger things in the space for music in Tobago, but today is not the time for that kind of exposition.
Right. And I want to really thank both of you for spending this time. I know it's emotional. I know, Sharon, I mean, this is your sister, and you would have shared so many moments, not just personal, but even professionally. And I really hope that, you know, for me, there's always a lesson to learn out of someone's passing. And I do hope that you would have shared some of the issues in the creative industry, but just remembering Kay, Alleyne, Meloney, what she would have done. My most recent memory, which gave me even more respect for her, is even in her illness, she would have supported. I think one of the schools here in Tobago had a Christmas concert, and she would perform and then go and lie down in the back, and she would come back out and like, who does that? Who you're so ill, yet you would have made this commitment and you honored it. I know many churches in Trinidad in the Adventist community would have held beautiful sessions of praise and to raise funds for her. And, and she would show up. She didn't have to, but she would show up to say thank you and to let people know, I see what you're doing for me. And that for me meant volumes and spoke volumes.
As you say that, on behalf of Tobago, on behalf of all the creatives, on behalf of Flame, on behalf of Elevate, on behalf of everyone, to Mr. Arnold, to Stacy and Kurt, our deepest condolences. Kay was a personality, especially at home, right? Because she would come and take over the house by me, because my kids are her godchildren. So when she's in Tobago, sometimes she'll stay by me, and she would always say, Sharon, we have to do something, we have to do something. They had to treat we good when we are alive. And this is my aim, this is my goal, this is my drive now, to ensure that Tobago, especially Tobago creatives, that are pushing and doing the work, because this is very important, that she did the work, right? And it's important that we push for camaraderie, but also push for higher levels and higher standards. She was a professional, she was also a perfectionist, and she was a passionate person. On all levels, as Mr. Arnold would have said, she was a stellar A game from the day I met her till the day she passed. And in her honor, Tobago, we rise. We rise together as a creative collective now. We do things in a proper way. We come together, Mr. Arnold and myself. We come together. We do things that would elevate and lift the standard in Tobago. Because I know we could do it. I know we have the talent. We have the drive. We have the professional people who can help and come together. It's not a competition. It's love. It's all love. And I think that in Kay's honor, we should now, going forward, stop waiting to posthumously award and consider people. Support them when they are alive.
That's right.
Support the events, support the shows, go out, buy the tickets, buy the merchandise, buy the music. Sometimes it's as simple as liking and sharing the music on your platform. We have to change the attitude here. Because now I feel like we could have done a lot more when it was needed. And now all we could do is look back on a life, by the way, well lived. I am honored to say this was my sister. And I will put her down with grace and pride.
And thank you so much, for sharing on this touching matter for so many of us, so many of you viewers. And I invite you, even, as you go through today, the next coming days, you have a memory you like to share, feel free to share it on our social media platforms. And let's just keep this name going, keep her memory alive, and let's really stop just talking, but follow up with the action. So thank you, Mr. Arnold. Thank you, Ms. Phillips, for sharing with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Viewers, I know many of you were touched by Kay and her music. And, the call is, let's really come out and support our creatives. It's, it's great to have your flowers after, but it's even better to have your flowers while you're alive. So we go to a quick break. And when we return, we have 2 more guests. We'll meet quickly, separate topics. We have our spelling bee individual who will tell us about it. And of course, Janae Jones. I think I gave her a different surname earlier on, right? Janae Jones. Interact, and we'll hear from her as well. Thank you, viewers. And of course, stay with us as we get ready to meet these 2 other individuals.
All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice, yes. You've led me through the fire in darkest nights. You were close like no other. Said I've known you like a father. I've known